You know, when I look at young people today, I see the same fire I once had in my eyes. I see dreams bigger than mountains, energy that feels like it will never run out, and an eagerness to prove the world wrong. But I also see something else: confusion, fear, and sometimes hesitation. And that's exactly why I'm here today. Because I've been where you are. I've sat in the back of the room wondering if the person on stage really has anything worth saying to me. I've rolled my eyes when older people said, "I wish I had known this when I was your age." But let me tell you, if you listen closely today, you might just avoid the same mistakes that still keep me awake at night. I am not here to give you a textbook answer, and I am not here to tell you that life is fair. It's not. I'm here to give you the kind of advice I wish someone had hammered into my stubborn head when I was your age. The kind of advice that, if you truly take it to heart, will save you years of wasted effort and protect you from regrets that feel heavier than failure. What I'm about to share with you is not theory. It's experience carved out of real struggles, sleepless nights, and opportunities I almost let slip away. And my biggest regret, well, I'll share that with you before we finish today. But for now, I want you to make me one promise: stay with me until the very end. Not for me, but for you. Because what you hear today could be the turning point you didn't know you were waiting for. When you are young, there is something you don't realize until it's almost too late. You can afford to fail. Not only can you afford it, you must experience it. I know that sounds strange, because from the moment we're born, people start telling us to avoid mistakes, to be careful, to not take risks that could ruin your future. But what they don't tell you is that the future you are so worried about is shaped by the very mistakes you are trying to avoid. Think about it. When you were a child, you learned to walk by falling hundreds of times. You didn't think of it as failing. You just kept getting up because you were determined to move forward. Somewhere along the way, as we grow older, we lose that natural courage. We become afraid of looking foolish. We start worrying about what people will say, how we will be judged, and whether we will embarrass ourselves. And so we play it safe, but safety in youth is a prison cell with invisible walls. The best time to fail is when you are young, because the consequences are small and the lessons are huge. If you try something now and it doesn't work, you can still stand up again. You have time, you have energy. You have fewer responsibilities, fewer people depending on you, and fewer commitments tying you down. That freedom is your most powerful resource. Use it. When I was young, I thought failure was a signal to stop, that it meant I wasn't good enough. But every time I stumbled, life was actually teaching me something I couldn't have learned from success. Success teaches you to repeat what you've done. Failure teaches you to adapt, to be creative, to understand yourself and the world better. Success can make you arrogant. Failure humbles you, and humility will take you much further than ego ever will. I know some of you are thinking, it's easy for you to say now, you're already successful. You don't understand what it feels like to be at the bottom. Believe me, I do. I have been rejected more times than I can count. Jobs, projects, opportunities. I've been told no so many times it almost became my second name. And at that time, each no felt like a door slamming in my face. But over the years, I realized those closed doors were not a dead end. They were redirections. They were forcing me to become stronger, smarter, and more resourceful. The world will test you, and most of the time it will test you by denying you what you think you want. But every failure is like a mirror. It shows you something about yourself you didn't know before. Sometimes it shows you a weakness you must fix. Sometimes it reveals a strength you never realized you had. And sometimes it shows you that what you thought you wanted was never truly right for you in the first place. When you fail early, you learn early. You start understanding that failure is not the opposite of success. It is part of success. Every person you admire, every leader you look up to, every innovator you wish to become has failed more times than you have even tried. The difference is, they didn't stop at failure, they learned from it and used it as fuel. So, my advice to you is simple: fail fast, fail often, but fail with awareness. Don't fail because you are careless, fail because you were brave enough to try something new, something uncomfortable, something that stretched you beyond your current abilities. And after each failure, stop and ask yourself, what did I learn? How can I improve? If you do this, every failure will become a stepping stone, not a stumbling block. I've seen so many young people paralyzed by fear of making the wrong choice. They keep waiting for the perfect opportunity, the perfect moment, the perfect plan. But perfection is a lie. It doesn't exist. The truth is, you will never be ready for your biggest opportunities. You just have to start, and in starting, you will become ready, and along the way, you will fall. That's okay. In fact, that's the point. Your failures will also give you something else that's priceless: stories. Stories that will inspire others. Stories that will teach your future self how far you've come. One day, when you're older, you'll look back and realize those moments you thought were the end were actually the beginning of the best chapters of your life. The people who achieve the most are not the ones who never fail. They are the ones who never let failure stop them. They know that rejection is just redirection, that a loss is just a lesson, and that pain is just growth in disguise. Right now, you have the gift of youth. You have the time to experiment, to explore, to fall flat on your face and get up laughing. Use it. Don't waste it living someone else's plan for you, or following a path just because it's safe. Safe will keep you small. Risk will make you grow. And yes, failure hurts. It will sting. It will make you doubt yourself. But the pain fades and the wisdom remains. That wisdom becomes your advantage. While others hide from challenges, you will run toward them, because you will know something they don't. Failure is not a signal to stop. It's a sign you're on the right path. So, when you leave here today, remember this. Don't spend your youth trying to avoid failure. Spend it collecting lessons. Spend it building resilience. Spend it becoming so strong inside that no setback can break you. Because one day you will look back and realize that your failures were not your weakest moments. They were the very moments that shaped the person you were always meant to become when you are young. It's so easy to be tempted by the shine of quick results. The world around you constantly flashes images of instant success. Someone goes viral overnight. Someone makes millions from a single deal. Someone's name becomes famous in a week. And you start thinking, why can't that be me? Why should I wait years to see the results of my work? That's the trap. Because in chasing quick wins, you can lose the very thing that will truly build your future, your long-term vision. I've seen so many talented young people burn out not because they lacked skill or intelligence, but because they measured success in days instead of decades. They wanted to run before learning to walk. They wanted the reward before building the foundation. And when the quick reward didn't come, they gave up. But life is not a sprint, it's a marathon. And in a marathon, the ones who win are not the ones who rush ahead in the first mile. They are the ones who pace themselves, stay focused, and keep going long after others have fallen behind. Short-term thinking is dangerous because it makes you chase trends instead of purpose. Trends come and go, but purpose stays. If you build your life around the latest opportunity just because it looks easy or popular, you will spend your years jumping from one thing to another, always starting over, never building something lasting. But if you decide early on what truly matters to you, what you are willing to commit your energy to for years, you will find that success stops feeling like a lottery ticket and starts becoming the natural result of your consistent effort. The truth is, anything worth building takes time. A tree doesn't grow fruit the day after it's planted. You have to water it, protect it, and wait, and during that waiting, you will be tested. People will tell you you're wasting your time. They'll say you should try something faster or easier. You will watch others race past you, appearing to get ahead. But what you won't see is how quickly many of them will also fall, because they built without roots. When you have a long-term vision, you stop comparing your journey to anyone else's. You understand that their path is theirs, and yours is yours. You stop being distracted by what others are doing, because you know where you are going, and that clarity gives you peace even when the progress is slow. It's not easy to think long-term when you're young. You feel like you have to prove yourself quickly. You worry about time running out, but the truth is, the earlier you start building something meaningful, the more time you actually have for it to grow into something extraordinary. Imagine you start a small project today, nothing huge, just something you believe in. Every year, you add a little more to it. In 10 years, it's no longer small. It's something people notice, respect, and even depend on. That's the power of compounding, not just in money, but in skills, relationships, and impact. But building for the long term also means being willing to sacrifice some short-term pleasures. You might have to turn down a quick deal because it doesn't align with your bigger goal. You might have to work late while your friends are out enjoying themselves. You might have to delay rewards until the right time. And yes, that can feel frustrating. But here's the thing. Delayed gratification is the secret weapon of every great achiever. They know that saying not yet to something good often means saying yes later to something far better. You must also understand that long-term vision requires patience with failure. Because if your plan is measured in years, one bad month, or even one bad year, does not mean the end. It just means you are still in the process. Many young people quit too soon simply because they don't see results fast enough. But results follow consistency, and consistency is built over years, not weeks. One of the most dangerous things you can do when you're young is to trade your future for a moment of instant gratification. It's like selling a golden tree for a handful of coins. You might feel richer today, but tomorrow you will realize you've lost something priceless. Every decision you make now is shaping the person you'll be 5, 10, 20 years from now. Make sure that future version of yourself is someone you'll be proud to meet. And let me tell you something, long-term vision isn't just about business or career. It's about life. The relationships you invest in today will grow into your greatest support system tomorrow. The skills you develop now will become your competitive advantage later. The habits you build in your 20s and 30s will determine the health, mindset, and stability you have in your 40s and 50s. Everything is connected, so here is the challenge. Stop asking, how fast can I get this? And start asking, how strong can I make this? Stop chasing what's trending and start building what's timeless. Every day you work on your long-term vision, you are laying bricks. And one day, you'll look up and realize you've built something no one can take away from you. There will be moments when you feel like nothing is happening, when your progress is invisible. But remember, even in the darkest soil, the seed is growing. Just because you can't see the results yet doesn't mean they aren't coming. That's where trust comes in. Trust in your vision, trust in your process, trust in the fact that persistence pays off in ways that speed never will. And when the rewards finally come, they will not vanish like quick wins. They will stay. They will multiply. They will give you not just success, but legacy. And that is something no overnight victory can give you. So as you move forward, hold your vision tighter than your fears and your patience stronger than your doubts. Because if you keep building day after day, without rushing, without quitting, without losing sight of your purpose, you will be amazed at what your life becomes. No matter how smart, talented, or determined you are, the people you choose to surround yourself with will shape your future more than you can imagine. I've seen brilliant people lose their way because they were surrounded by the wrong voices, and I've seen ordinary people achieve extraordinary things because they had the right circle. It's not just about who you spend time with, it's about who influences your thinking, your standards, and your decisions. When you are young, you often underestimate how much your environment affects you. You think you're strong enough to stay true to yourself no matter who you're with. But slowly, without even noticing, you start speaking like the people around you, thinking like them, even believing in the same limitations they believe in. If they complain all the time, you start complaining. If they make excuses, you start making excuses. And if they don't aim high, you begin to lower your own expectations. That's why you must be intentional about your circle. Don't just spend time with people because it's convenient or comfortable. Spend time with people who challenge you to grow. People who believe in possibilities when you feel doubt creeping in. People who hold you accountable when you're tempted to take the easy way out. The right people will make you uncomfortable in a good way. They will push you beyond your limits, not because they want to see you struggle, but because they want to see you rise. The truth is, your circle is like a mirror that reflects your future. If you look around and the people closest to you are negative, unmotivated, and stuck in the same place year after year, that's a warning sign. If you look around and see people who are disciplined, ambitious, and committed to improving themselves, that's a different story. You rise or fall to the level of those you associate with most. It doesn't mean you should cut off everyone who isn't as driven as you are. Life isn't about abandoning people, it's about setting boundaries. You can still love and care for those who aren't growing, but you must protect your own mindset. You can't let their limitations become your limitations. Surround yourself with at least a few people who inspire you, who have already gone further than you in some area of life. Learn from them, listen to them, let their perspective expand yours. I've learned that there are 3 kinds of people you need in your life. First, you need mentors, those ahead of you who can guide you, not by giving you every answer, but by showing you the right questions to ask. They help you avoid mistakes they've already made. They shorten your learning curve. Second, you need peers, people walking the same journey as you. They keep you sharp because you can push each other, compete in a healthy way, and share lessons as you both grow. They're the ones you can call when you feel like giving up because they understand the challenges you're facing right now. And third, you need people you can mentor, those who are a step or 2 behind you. Teaching others will deepen your own understanding, and it will remind you how far you've come. Sometimes, when you feel stuck, helping someone else move forward gives you the clarity and motivation you need to keep going yourself. But here's the challenge. You won't always find the right people easily. You might have to step out of your comfort zone to meet them. You might have to go to events you've never attended, join communities you've never been part of, or even travel to new places. The right connections often require effort to find. Don't wait for them to come to you. Go looking for them. And when you do find the right people, value those relationships. Don't just give. Support them in their goals as much as they support you in yours. Trust is built when both sides invest in each other's success. One of the hardest things for young people to accept is that not everyone is meant to go with you on your journey. Some friends are only for a season. You may grow apart not because of conflict, but because your paths are no longer aligned. And that's okay. If you try to carry everyone with you, you will slow down your own progress. Sometimes letting go is not betrayal. It's necessary for growth. And understand this. Surrounding yourself with the right people doesn't mean they will always agree with you. In fact, some of the best advice you'll ever get will be the advice you didn't want to hear. The right people will call you out when you're making excuses, when you're playing small, when you're drifting off course. They care enough to risk upsetting you in order to keep you moving forward. It's also important to remember that your circle is not just physical anymore. In today's world, your influences also come from what you read, watch, and listen to. If your social media is filled with negativity and nonsense, don't be surprised if your thinking becomes negative and distracted. Be intentional with what you feed your mind. If you can't find inspiring people in your immediate life, you can still learn from great thinkers, leaders, and creators through books, podcasts, videos, and online communities. You don't have to be in the same room with someone for them to mentor you. Ultimately, the people you choose to be close to are either helping you build your future or helping you destroy it. There is no neutral influence. That's why this decision is one of the most important you'll ever make. Your time is your most valuable resource. Don't waste it on people who drain your energy, discourage your dreams, or keep you small. Choose wisely, because years from now, when you look back at your life, you'll realize that your greatest opportunities, your biggest breakthroughs, and even your happiest moments were often connected to the people you decided to let into your inner circle. Looking back on my journey, I've had my share of failures, missed chances, and wrong turns. But when I think about my biggest regret, it's not the times I failed. It's the times I didn't even try. The moments when opportunity was right in front of me and I hesitated, I told myself maybe later, maybe next time. But opportunities are not like buses. There is no guarantee another one will come along. When you're young, you think there's always more time. You think, I'll take that risk when I'm more ready, or I'll chase that dream when I'm more confident. But the truth is, you will never feel fully ready. Confidence is not something you wait for. It's something you gain after you start. And if you keep waiting for perfect timing, you'll end up watching your life pass you by. I can still remember certain moments in my life that haunt me, not because they were failures, but because they were absences. I didn't speak up when I should have. I didn't say yes when I had the chance. I didn't take that leap when my heart told me to. And the thing about regret is that it doesn't fade like pain. It grows heavier over time. Failure will teach you and make you stronger. Regret will only leave you wondering what if for the rest of your life. When I was younger, I thought that avoiding risks was the safest way to live. But I've learned that not taking risks is the biggest risk of all, because life doesn't reward hesitation, it rewards action. And youth is the most precious time you'll ever have to take bold actions. You don't yet have the heavy responsibilities that will come later. Families to support, debts to pay, obligations that tie you down. Right now, you have freedom, and freedom is only valuable if you use it. I see so many young people waiting for someone to give them permission to start. They think they need more education, more money, more connections before they can begin. But I'll tell you something. Most of the great things I've seen people accomplish started when they had none of those things. What they did have was the courage to take the first step. The first step is always the hardest, not because it's physically difficult, but because it requires you to push past fear, uncertainty, and doubt. You will never know how far you can go until you step beyond what is familiar. And yes, stepping into the unknown feels uncomfortable. It might even feel terrifying, But what's more terrifying is staying in the same place your whole life and realizing you never found out what you were truly capable of. I once met a young man who had a brilliant idea for a business. Every time we spoke, he told me about his vision, his plans, how it could change lives. But year after year, nothing happened. He was always preparing, but never starting. Then one day, someone else launched a similar idea and succeeded. And I watched the light in his eyes dim, not because someone else had won, but because deep down he knew he had lost to himself. Opportunities have a strange way of disappearing if you don't take them. They rarely come back in the exact same form. That's why when a door opens, you can't just stand there wondering if you should walk through. You have to move. Even if you're scared, even if you don't have all the answers, you can figure things out along the way, but you can't recover an opportunity once it's gone. Some of you here today might already know what your door is. You have an idea you've been sitting on, a skill you've been hiding, a dream you've been delaying. Maybe you've been telling yourself that the timing isn't right, but the truth is, the timing will never be perfect. If you keep waiting for the perfect wave, you'll miss the chance to swim entirely. I wish someone had told me earlier that most people don't regret the things they did. They regret the things they didn't do. They regret the conversations they never had, the trips they never took, the opportunities they never seized, the projects they never started because they were too worried about failing. And here's the irony, by not starting, they failed anyway. Taking action doesn't mean you'll always succeed. In fact, sometimes you'll take a leap and land flat on your face. But even then, you'll walk away with something priceless experience, and that experience will make you sharper, wiser, and braver for the next opportunity. But if you don't take the leap, you gain nothing. I've learned that regret is far more painful than failure. You can recover from failure. You can rebuild after a mistake. But regret is a wound that doesn't heal because you can't go back and change what you didn't do. You can only wonder how life might have been different. So my message to you is this: be bold while you have the chance. Say yes to the opportunities that excite you and scare you at the same time. Don't wait for certainty. Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for the perfect moment, because it doesn't exist. The perfect moment is the one you decide to take action in. One day you will look back on this time in your life, and you will either smile because you took every shot you could, or you will feel the weight of the shots you never took. That choice is being made right now in the decisions you make every single day, so take the risk, speak up. Step forward, open the door before it closes, because in the end, you will never regret the times you tried and failed, but you will regret the times you didn't try at all.